Awesome. What's going on, young lady? How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. Let the people know who you are.
I am Monique Johnson, also known as your favorite little artist.
I'm curious, really quickly, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
How about yoga, meditation, mindfulness, any of those things?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Do you have a mindfulness technique that's really awesome that you want to share with the people that
Not really.
works for you?
Not really. Just being cognitive of my mind and what I think and what I intake. And so, yeah.
How about tea or coffee?
Ooh, coffee.
Coffee. You have a special blend? You have a spot you go to?
I don't. I love Starbucks because I can get mad creative. But, yeah.
Silly question, but hey, journaling or painting?
Ooh, painting.
Finger painting is a special tool that you use. Talk to us about it. Is there a tool in your tool belt that's like, that's it?
Just the right paintbrush. Having the right paintbrush, the right paintbrush selection, phenomenal. You create anything with that.
I love it. Nature walk or guided nature meditation?
Ooh, nature walk.
Essential oils or scented candles?
Oh, scented candles.
Face mask or spa day?
Ooh, face mask.
For me, I really wanted to know, I was an overweight child. Like I was really, we can't compare the two. I can't compare me being overweight and the challenges that you have. However, I know that was challenging for me.
Right.
Just being a fat kid, a husky kid, they picked on me. I remember all of that. The first thing when I saw your space, I really want to know, when did you know as a kid, if you could remember, that you were different? And then when you figured out that you weren't like the rest of them, who was there to encourage your spirit? Because kids are cruel.
Right. So when did I found out later in life. When I say later in life, it wasn't an initial, like, oh, I'm 1, 2 years old, and, no. Let me give you a little bit of background with my family. We're from New York, okay? And so being that we're from New York, we're from Brooklyn. Yeah. Right? And so they literally, we've got that Brooklyn mentality. Yeah. We're not gonna let anybody hold us down. And that is the field that my family set for me. So I was already coming out the gate with a whole bunch of confidence, right? My grandparents really sold into me like what I was capable of doing. And so I didn't really understand that I was different until elementary school. When I started looking at my sister's bus, and her bus is mad long, but my bus short. What's going on with that, right? And then why is there a ramp in the back? And why am I not getting the homework, right? And she's getting homework. And then I'm realizing, oh, wait a minute, the students around me, because I went to a school for children with disabilities. The kids around me cognitively wasn't there, so it was very hard for me to make friends. And so I didn't really come to grips with the fact that I was different until I entered elementary school. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Scene. We do. So we got this thing called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
First thing that comes to mind. You ready?
All right, let's go.
All right, cool. If you could be any fictional character for a day, who would you choose and what would you do?
Superman.
Yeah.
All right, and I would fly everywhere. I would just literally just fly. Yeah. Everywhere.
Yeah. I love it. Would you rather have your artwork displayed in a prestigious museum, but have it mistaken for a child's doodle, or have it displayed at a local cafe and praised as a masterpiece?
Local cafe.
The local cafe.
Local cafe.
If animals could talk, which one would you choose? Which one do you think would be the funniest to have a conversation with?
Oh man, probably donkeys.
Why?
They're an ass.
I love it. Would you rather have your paintings magically come to life as friendly animated characters, or have the ability to teleport into any famous painting and explore its world?
Probably teleport.
Is there a painting that comes to mind when you talk about going into a painting? Is it one?
You know what? I used to do a lot of landscapes, and they were based on just exotic places as well as different countries. And so, one of the things that I want to get into, especially within the coming years, is traveling internationally, so that people can see someone like me in places that you wouldn't think you would see somebody like me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
What's a destination that you're like, that's my first space?
Oh man, shoot, probably maybe Paris, or Egypt. Paris or Egypt.
How about you fellas, man? Like, we talk about travel, we're pretty well traveled, not to toot our own horn, right? But we've been to some places before, so I love to hear, what are some things, whether it's bucket list, been to.
She took mine, Egypt. I've done Paris.
Yeah.
With your artwork, I can see a number of those museums.
Yeah.
But Egypt, there's something different about the
Cairo?
pyramids.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. So that's the spot I want to go to.
Okay.
How about you, Gary?
I'm gonna lean into Erin. She's got back, but Africa. Haven't been, and I keep hearing people say how much going over there changes coming back.
Yeah.
Right. So I just heard a rapper who just went over there, Simba, and before he went, he said he wears all these expensive jewels. He said once you come back, he's like, that don't even matter over there. So like Nigeria. Yeah.
I love it. Fiji. I like seeing my feet in the water. I like to be able to look down and, it's relaxing. Water. I love water, period. So I would say Fiji. I've been to a lot of places, but Fiji would definitely be a destination place that I want to go to ASAP.
Right.
Yeah, definitely with my beating up my passport on there. So, all right, I got one more. Let's see.
Right.
We got. Would you rather have your artwork be famous for inspiring laughter and joy, or for making people question the meaning of life and existence?
I would say the latter. Although I'm a very humorous person, I feel like my presence in and of itself makes people scratch their head. And so for my artwork to be a derivative of that is very meaningful to me. It's very meaningful, and my whole purpose is to inspire people, but not only that, just be able to dispel preconceived notions about individuals with disabilities, right?
Yeah.
And so, I want people to be confounded when they see my work.
Yeah, I love that. I'm curious, you said Brooklyn, right? Explain to me the dynamics of the household. Right? The matriarch, the patriarchs, the strongholds. Who was there for you? What did it look like?
Okay, so let me also bring some extra context. Born in New York, stayed there until about 6 years old. My best friend and I, we joke about this all the time because she thinks that I'm a Southerner, but I have to let her know that, there's Brooklyn blood within me. But if I were to give you a glimpse of the household, first off, I come from a long line of strong, educated black women. My great-grandmother, we called her Up the Mamas. She had in New York, she had a restaurant, right? But in the back, it was a juke joint, right? And so by day, she was serving food, and by night, she had the whole place bumping, right? But then she would take that money and then come home and then feed her kids, which would have been my grandmother and her siblings. And so my grandmother had a house on Empire Boulevard, and that housed all of her children. Now, mind you, also, my grandmother had her first child at the age of 13. And so, if you can only imagine, there were a lot of us in there, but the age gap wasn't that wide. However, everybody knew we had a purpose, right? Everybody knew that, okay, well, we got Monique here. They didn't know what the heck was going on with me, to be honest with you, because I was the only little person there, but they knew to love, right? And so my uncle stayed there, my cousins stayed there. It was literally a harbor for our family, because we knew that outside of those walls, we don't know what's gonna go down, right? And it was good that we were in New York, because culturally it was a lot different than where my grandmother came from, which was Winston-Salem. And then they migrated from Winston-Salem to New York during the Great Migration. But they had the thoughts of, they were still settled in the South, right? Like mentally. And so we just knew that outside of the house, We don't know what's going to go on, but inside the house there will be love. There are going to be fights, of course. There are going to be throwdowns, right? But at the end of the day, when you put away the liquor and when you put away, you know, a lot of the things that were, you know, strongholds with us, we knew to come together and love.
So you went from New York to Greensboro?
New York to Key West, Florida.
Okay.
Stayed on a military base. My sister's father was in the military, and then from there we moved to North Carolina.
Okay.
Can you break down? I know you said age of 6. So you didn't. You know what? Age of 6.
Yes.
They told you wouldn't live
Yeah.
past the age of 6.
Correct. Correct.
And here you are, 31 plus years
Yep.
past that.
Mhm.
Talk about that. How does that show up in your life?
Oh wow. It's something that I literally wake up every morning, and here's another running joke that I'm very tearful in the morning, right? I've got family members who they're not a morning person, but to me, when I wake up and I open my eyes and I'm still here, oh that's a reason, right? To be in a good mood. But for a long time, knowing that I wasn't anticipated to live past the age of 6 presented a lot of fear in me because I didn't understand, right? I had my grandmother praying for me. That was great. But then I had this Caucasian doctor, right, suited up, who was telling my parents in front of me.
Sorry.
So knowing that the doctors had this prognosis and the doctors were, you know, telling my parents, my grandmother and my mother in front of me now that we either have to operate on her because her lungs is gonna collapse, her heart is gonna collapse, and I'm sitting there like you got to be kidding me, right? Like I'm sitting there and I'm fearful, but I'm not saying anything, right? But it was weird because they said, you know what? If she doesn't die, she's going to be paralyzed, okay? But it was weird because I could move. I could move, I could speak, I could yell. At that age, I was down on the floor, running around, you know? So something didn't click to me. I still was fearful, but something didn't click to me. And I didn't start becoming confident that, hey, maybe they might be wrong until about the age of 10. And I was like, all right, look, we done did this about four extra years now, and something had to happen. So, but I mean, it impacts me almost every day.
I mean, talk to our audience about, like, do you feel like your spirit, you know, first of all, you already talked about your faith, but your spirit and how you believe have played a part in, like, how that looks for you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really believe, like, our mindset, that we can heal ourselves and we can push forward and be resilient. And I really feel like it is something that happens on the inside of us. And so does that show up in your life at all?
It does. It does start. My foundation is definitely my faith. And I'm a realist, right? Like, I know the sky is blue because I'm looking at the sky. You got to show me what you're talking about. 2 + 2 = 4, right? But I think I had to have this God encounter for me to really have unshakable faith. Because had that not happened, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Somebody telling me that there's a big God that I don't see, okay, working on my behalf, that would have been hard for me to fathom. That would have been hard for me to accept, especially being in this position. But when I look at my x-rays, and I see my spine has not been tampered with, that I've not had surgery, you know, on my spine, right? And I am yet still here. That lets me know, number one, God is not only who He is and who He says He is, but He's working on my behalf. But then also, He gives me the power. He gives me the power. I possess the power to stay healed. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely believe that you have to have the right mindset. If I had not had the right mindset, honestly, I don't even know where I would be. I don't. I would have succumbed to not only probably my health situation, but I probably would have succumbed to what society says about me. You talked about kids being cruel. You look at how many young people are bullied every day and how many take their lives, how many deal with depression, how many deal with, having low self-esteem. And it's just a wonder that hasn't plagued my life.
Yeah.
It is the most amazing thing.
I mean, you've got such an amazing story. When did you find the confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to turn this to a business and make sure that everybody knows this story in a way that inspire others?
Right. So, remember I talked about the strong black women?
Yeah.
Well, they all were entrepreneurs as well. And so I spoke to you about the mamas, which would have been my great-grandmother. But my grandmother also was a nurse, but opened up her own home health care agency. And I'm not just talking one that just ran out of a side. No, she had clients staying there and literally like a small doctor's office. My mother, she now currently owns a shop. So with all that being said, it's in me to appreciate moolah, okay? It's in me to appreciate money and finances, and I'm really passionate about that as well. And so when I figured that my artwork could generate the finances that I needed to help me with, everyday life, and I was like, oh, well then we're gonna maximize this and multiply this and see, what happens. So I didn't start becoming very passionate about it until after college. So yeah.
We won't pay the bills. We'll come right back on the Bro Code Show. We got the Johnsons in the building. Monique Johnson, that is, right?
Absolutely.
Tell them your stage name. What's my favorite
Your
little
favorite
artist?
little artist, yep.
Your favorite.
Yes.
Mine, yours, and everybody else's.
Absolutely.
We'll be back on the Bro Code Show.
And made these designs in a program called Tinkercad, and then we 3D printed them, and you can actually imagine playing a game with it.
We're back on the Bro Code Show. We got Monique Johnson, we got the bros. We talked about a lot, but we want to dive a little bit deeper before we get to Bro Smith, because we want to talk about school and being a learned woman and all of that support. But when we were on the break, you mentioned having a God encounter at 4.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so my God encounter was really about, again, looking at what was in black and white, which were because every year they would try to measure my spine, right? And so looking at the x-rays, and they x-rayed me from top to bottom. They were trying to figure out about my joints, as well as, again, my spine, and then realizing that I had scoliosis and kyphosis, right? So those two, in and of itself, is very dangerous. But to also kind of give you guys the severity of it, when your spine curves past the degree of 90 degrees, right, then you are in jeopardy of it collapsing your lungs and your heart. Well, mine has surpassed 110 degrees already, all right? And so it was past that back when I was 4, right? And so that's why they said to my mother, listen, she's not gonna live past the age of 6. But my God encounter was literally every day waking up, again, saying, some ain't right here. Some ain't right here. I know what you all are saying. I highly value education, right? I get it, I understand, but I can still move. I can still speak. My voice box has not been muted, which was one of the things that they thought would be affected as well. And so that God encounter was literally God showing me every single day, Mo, like, I have you here. I have you here. I've created you. I know everything about you, right? Because I created you. right? And so go forth and be great. And so, yeah, and again, by me saying that, because oftentimes people will look at my life and think that everything is peaches and cream. Not at all, right? There was faith active, but there was also fear active at the same time. And most people would say, how can you have the two? You can have the two, all right? But as long as you have a little bit more faith than you do fear, right? Then you're winning. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. What you got, bro?
I want to jump back into the school aspect, 'cause, you know, Aggie pride, right?
Absolutely.
Got
All day.
little Aggie pride.
All day.
You know, what was like on campus? I imagine you're a little bit of a celebrity in itself on campus.
Right. So I'm gonna also bring a little bit of context to that. My mother had always told me, Monique, look, you might not be able to play a sport. It's all right. But you can do anything in life you want. You can be anything in life that you want. You can go to any college you want to. You just stay in those books, right? That was her requirement. Make sure that you bring me home some good grades. And I did. So I graduated. By my senior year, I was at 4.0 GPA, right? And I remember going to my guidance counselor and saying, okay, boom, here's my transcript. Here's what I have. I would like to go to North Carolina A&T State University. Now, mind you, my sister had already attended A&T. I'd already gotten the essence of A&T. And I don't know if you know, but when you step on a campus like that, that is not only historic, but, and I messed up and I went to a game, y'all. I went to a game.
That was over.
And I
Was
mean,
it football?
when I tell you,
It had to be football.
Yeah, it had
oh
to
my
be football,
goodness.
yeah.
I went to a football game, and I mean, the band was just doing its thing. And it was a feel that was phenomenal, right? So I knew this is where I wanted to go. I knew this. Went in to talk to the guidance counselor. The guidance counselor said, listen, I understand that's where you would like to go. However, that is a historically black college, and we are unsure if they are fully equipped to have someone like you who is disabled on campus. That messed me up. And because, again, there's a disconnect. Wait, my mama said, right, that if I do what I need to do academically, I can go to any college. So my guidance counselor says, maybe you should attend this college for people with disabilities. That messed me up even further. Went home, and got me in my emotions just a little bit. And then I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna go to North Carolina A&T State University. Because if I don't go, who's gonna pave the way, right? Who's gonna let the faculty and staff know, hey, no, this curb needs a ramp, right? This dorm is not fit for somebody. I need to pave that way. So I did, and when I tell you, the faculty and staff was phenomenal. I mean, they went in and they said, okay, baby girl, we got a closet right here. All right, it's probably gonna be hard for you to get in and out of the closet because of the door. We're gonna take the door off. All right, we're gonna raise the bed up. We're gonna, like, they literally put my TV up on the wall in the corner. And this is somebody's uncle that was probably working in housing or something like that, but they took care of me. Not only did the faculty and staff take care of me, but the students were amazing, right? So when I was on campus, if I was behind a group of guys, hey, watch out, dog, shorty coming through, watch out, dog, you know what I mean? Hey, baby, can I get the door for you? When I was in class, let me get the books out for you. I mean, it was just, they embraced me better than regular society does. And so when people say, oh, you have Aggie pride, it's more than just that blue and gold. It is the fact that those were 4 of my best years in life. And they allowed me to be immersed in a culture that made me not feel like I was such an outcast. So, yeah.
Now, I know that from watching some of your other interviews, you're slanging that artwork like pies on campus,
Yeah.
you know, as a way to supplement your income.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, is that what spawned, hey, I can do this for a living type thing?
No, because I wasn't even thinking about being an artist back then. I mean, when there were probates, right, and people needed Greek artwork, custom art, hey, come down to Scott 6102, and I got the artwork for you. Okay. And so, you know, I was flipping little canvases here and there, making $25 here, $50 there. But it wasn't until I needed to pay for an aid prior to, so here was my hang up. I had a full ride scholarship, academic scholarship to North Carolina A&T. But I needed to pay for an assistant to stay on campus because I was determined to stay on campus. And my mom was like, why don't you just, she got some arts and crafts stuff from Michael's and was like, well, why are you sitting there trying to figure out how you're going to pay for it? Do something with this canvas. Like, all right, fine. So I painted an African-American man playing a saxophone. Went to a cookout the next week. My mama, I don't know none of these people at this cookout. My mama opens up the trunk of the van and she's like, look what my baby did. So she pulls it out and some old man in the back of this like, I don't know, everybody was sitting out and he was like, I'll give you $100 for it. And I was like, you $100 for this? Alright, so. And so from there, I was able to raise enough money to pay for an aid. And then you fast forward to being in school and me doing, artwork for Greek organizations and things of that nature. So, but I didn't take it seriously even then. I didn't take it seriously till after law school. And
like how you just casually
you would just throw around law school like it's just everybody.
Yeah, well,
that's great.
Law school came after obtaining my business degree at North Carolina A&T State University, and went on to Elon University School of Law. Graduated from there, 2012, which was my main goal. I mean, the art was great. Playing spades at 2 a.m. was great. That was great. But I was on. My mind was set that I was going to attend law school and become.
Now, are you good at spades?
I'm sorry.
Can you play spades?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't
I'll
say
challenge
don't say nothing.
We got you on camera.
Hey, listen, anybody that want it,
They can come get it.
right?
Okay.
Don't give me don't give me nobody that's
Want no smoke?
Okay. No. Yeah.
I got to see that.
So maybe I missed a point where you started with art.
Yeah.
Now, like when was that? When did you
When
first
did I
see a
start
blank?
with art?
Yeah, when did you get your first
Oh,
blank canvas
man.
and how did that work?
You know what? And people ask me this all the time. I often tell them I didn't start taking art seriously until about 15 years ago. But all my life I knew that I was able to paint or finagle a crayon or color pencil. It was very aggravating in elementary school because automatically they assume, and I'm talking about physical therapists, that I wasn't going to be able to hold a pencil. And I get it. That was their job, right? So they would come up with weird little pencils for me to hold, and I was like, yeah, that ain't it. You know what I mean? But I found a way to put the writing utensils, so whether it's a paintbrush or whether it's a pencil or a pen, between these two fingers right here. So my joints, like they don't. I have all of my joints, right? So when you pull your hands out, right, you have 3, like where your knuckles are, right? I've got all that.
Okay.
They merged, so I cannot grip like I'm supposed to. But these two, I'm telling you, God is a great engineer. He's a phenomenal artist. Because I wouldn't have thought about this, right? So I can put the writing utensil between these two and grip it, and I can do pretty much anything.
You your questions now, right?
Like 4th grade, I was making comic books and drawing, and then selling those for 50 cents. So I got shut down because I couldn't sell stuff on campus or on, in elementary school. I was like, dang, all right, cool. Well, meet me at the bus stop, all right? But yeah, no, all of my life I knew that I had an artistic ability.
So you've always been about your money when it comes to your art. Because I know for a lot of creatives, it's a space where a lot of people are creative, and as we are, we love it, but cannot make money from it, right?
Yes,
and so many people's parents would say, well, yeah, you need to go into something that's going to pay you.
Right.
Obviously, that's paying you. I guess, how do you, because we've had a lot of artists on our show, and I want to hear from you, how do you price your paintings?
Ooh.
Right?
Right.
How much? How does that go?
Yeah, so it largely depends on the size. Okay, the larger the canvas, the more expensive it is. But it's also my time. It's not even really so much of the resources that's needed, not the paint, not the canvas, because you could catch a sale at Michael's, you know what I mean? But it is how many hours am I putting into this canvas? So I have, for example, a Kobe piece that is just hot stuff. It is a 3-foot by 3-foot picture of Kobe.
I love Kobe, my favorite player, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, well I gotta show it to
Yeah,
you.
please.
We are actually trying to get it to his family. It is huge. The news did a story on it, all that good stuff. That particular piece took me not too long actually, about a week to do. But because of the popularity of it, right? I know that it's gotta be priced, you know, accurately and appropriately. So sometimes that is a limbo, and I still struggle with that today. I'm not even gonna lie, I still struggle with pricing my artwork, and I have to run it by a Lamaya. I have to run it by those who I trust, which is really very small amount of people, but because it is a struggle, and not everybody is going to value your art. You have to realize also that art is not a necessity. Right? And so I have to tap into a demographic of people who have the discretionary income to purchase artwork and who really understand the value of it. So yeah, that's a struggle even today. I'm getting better at it, but yeah.
One of the things that I hear, and thank you for all of that.
Yeah.
First of all, I heard you say you got a small circle, keep your circle tight. But I also heard you say, when we talk about art, and I think in just in many ways, people don't realize that if your price, for instance, was $1,000, right? I'm not negotiating my value because of not just the time I put in, but everything else I went through to get here.
Absolutely.
It's not just the 3 hours of painting.
Right.
It's the college. It's all of it coming into place. That's what you're paying for, because all of that comes into who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And so I'm just big on that. We are too, and everything we do is like, yo, our price is our price. And so I'm not big on, like, if I was gonna buy a piece, I'm not asking you for $1 off, because I find it to be disrespectful. That's my thought on pricing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we want to talk more about that. We do, but we got to take a break real quick on the Bro Code Show. We'll be right back.
True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours.
We're back on the Bro Code Show. Monique, we have talked about a whole lot. You know, one of the things that is really near and dear to our heart is wellness. But before we do that, we want to let everybody know how to get your art.
Yes, so my website is www.yourfavoritelittle.artist.com, but you can also catch me on TikTok, Instagram, as well as Facebook underneath Your Fave Little Artist.
Please look her up. Keep buying it, all the
Yes.
canvas. So what is it, like a collective piece, meaning are you doing all type of art? Are you focusing on canvases?
Right. So I've got a lot of prints on my website. I do try to categorize them in collections. So like we have a heritage collection, right, which it has my digital artwork, which features Harriet Tubman, a lot of the pioneers when it comes to African American history. And then again, we've got music artists, everyone from Tupac and Biggie to oh my goodness, we've got Goku. I've started doing anime. So it is a wide range of artwork there, and I'm sure that you'll find something that you would enjoy and that you would like.
It sounds like for the young and the young.
Absolutely.
Now, I did go on your page and I saw you shared a story about someone who was modifying his vehicle himself so that he could drive.
Right.
Is this a harbinger of things to come for yourself?
Absolutely. So, you know, it has been a long time coming. All right. And a large part of that is that, unfortunately, with people who have disabilities similar to mine, it's a financial, almost a hardship to really be able to get the equipment needed to do average everyday things, right? So while cognitively I was able to take driver's ed, you know, I couldn't do the in-car, right? And so here I am at the age of 37 and embarking on this journey of, you know, driving. And when I say it's a financial stretch, I mean the van in and of itself, and you're talking just a regular van, but it's got, you know, it's got the work now, it's got the ramp, and for me to be able to maneuver and have the security that I need, the lockdowns and all that, that in and of itself is $80,000. And we're not talking then the technology needed for me to drive. So it is something that I will see, I will realize, that will materialize in my life. We're just trying to get there one painting at a time, okay? So yeah.
So, wellness. Does that have a part? Because you talk about your independence.
Yeah.
We're really big on wellness, and we're talking about it a lot. And obviously, with some of your challenges, talk to us about, is there a place where it hits you in your mental health?
Yes, absolutely. So I really, really value my independence. I think God had a sense of humor when he made me, because I feel like I am 6 feet tall, right? My ambition is that of someone who is 6 feet tall. Again, cognitively, I'm sound, you know what I mean? I've got dreams and aspirations, but somehow or another, he saw fit for me to have to realize those dreams through the help of the hands and feet of other people. And for someone who is as, again, independent and hard-headed as I am, because I understand what my downfalls are, a lot of times I struggle with that. I struggle with those who would like to help me with my everyday tasks, because I need it. Literally 90% of the things that I need to accomplish in a day has to be done with the assistance of someone else. But I struggle with that. And so, yes, my mental health has been affected by it. Relationships have been affected by it. You've heard me mention her before, but with my best friend being Lamaya, we've had a struggle, because she's like, hey, I'm here to help you. Like, I want to help you. And I'm like, nah, you shouldn't have to do that. And it does play on my mind. So that's, where I'm trying to overcome. I'm still on the battlefield when it comes to that. But what she's helping me to understand is that there needs to be a balance, right? So it's okay to be independent. It's okay to want to do for yourself. Cool, do that. But when you need somebody that's going to help you, and I mean not just physically, like she's there for me mentally, she's there for me spiritually, right? And so learning how to lean when I need to lean, and how to support when I need to support, has been a life-changing lesson for me, and one that I think I will continue to evolve and learn from till I check on out of here.
So, thank you for that story.
Yeah.
Context for us growing up in Black households. All of us know that there was things that went on in our household, and you had a lot of people in your household. There's things that I'm sure you have never talked about.
Right.
You know that we don't talk about what happens in the house. We're all really leaning into being more authentic and vulnerable on an emotional side.
Yes.
I think because it's powerful, but also we have young kids, and we have nonprofits, but we work with young men. And so speak to the topic of being vulnerable with people you come in contact with. There's sometimes where I'm like, I see somebody who's maybe disabled and needs help,
right,
and I want to go help.
Right.
But then I don't know, am I going to offend them?
Right.
Because they're like, yo, get out of here, I don't need your help.
Right.
So how do you balance all that?
So to be honest with you, you're not going to be able to figure out every time somebody's going to be offended. Yeah. All right. Some of this is just going to have to happen, right? To someone like me, I'm not going to be offended, right? But I also realize that there are some individuals who are like, whether they're struggling with their mental health or their independence, like everybody has a different journey that they're going through. So again, you can't feel like, I can't help them because of X, Y, and Z. No, do what you feel is right. And sometimes when clarification needs to be, then clarify. No, I didn't mean any disrespect. You know what I mean? But when you talk about men and mental health, I can't speak to that because I'm a female, right? But for my especially minority, Black and brown men, my brothers, it is so very important. It is your mental health is so very. You are leading this community, our community. I did a dissertation on the importance of the African American male in our community, and I did this at Elon, where there weren't many of us there, but we're leaning on you all. We need you there. Your guidance, your intelligence, your protection is needed, whether I am married to you or not. You could be my brother, right? You could be my uncle, whoever it is. We need you. And so I would just say that your mental health is important to me. Your mental health is important to our community, and it's needed. And in any way that we can help to support you in that, you gotta let us know too. Let us sisters know.
I'm just curious, like for those that are listening or watching, you are the epitome of resilience, at, overcoming adversity. You said something earlier in the conversation, and I wanted to stop you. You was like, some people would think that everything is fruits and berries for you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. There's nowhere in the world that I can look at your situation and think anything about a fruit or a berry.
Right.
So I really would love to pull on you as we land this plane. What words of encouragement would you give to people that are in that space? That feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. What would you tell them?
I would just say, first off, I want to be a physical representation of what struggle and triumph looks like. Struggle and triumph looks like simultaneously. And my hope is that somehow, you may not be in a wheelchair, right? You may not be 2 foot tall, but maybe you can't pay your bills. Or maybe you're struggling with your sexuality, and you grew up in a black household, and you can't tell Uncle Ricky and them. You see what I'm saying? You can't, whatever your plight is, whatever your challenge is, I hope that there's something that I've said, that my presence in some way, form, or fashion lets you know that things get better. And that sounds mad cliche. I know that. But when I look at my 37 years from entering this world and the doctor saying, not only will she not live, we don't project that she'll be able to speak, that she'll be able to hear. We don't believe that she'll be able to walk or talk, okay? And I can do all of those things and do them well. And then I look at where I am today as an attorney, as a successful artist, right? Things do get better. And so you just got to find the tribe. You got to find the community that's going to embrace you. So Uncle Ricky might not embrace you, but there's going to be somebody who's going to embrace you. And then use that as a catalyst to help bring others up as well. So yeah.
I love it. You've heard it right here on the Bro Code Show. We will be right back with Monique Johnson.
It is my intention to live to the highest calling and be pressed to the mark of the highest calling that I have come to do. And when you can ask the Creator, ask that which made you you, what is your dream for me? I guarantee you, nobody can touch you.
What up, everybody? Welcome back into the Bro Code Show. My name is Monique Johnson, also known as your favorite little artist, and we are about to do something called Flip the Script, where I will be hosting and asking these fellas the questions that I want to know. You fellas all right with that? All right, now y'all gave me free reign. All right, so here's my first question.
Okay.
All right, would either of you, any of you, be willing to either be a vegetarian or pescatarian? Give up meat, in other words.
Well, let me clarify.
Okay. All right.
Let me clarify.
Okay.
Clarify. Excuse my ignorance. So pescatarian, that's just fish. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Awesome. I'll go with that.
Okay, you would.
I can go with
All right, you can be. All right, pescatarian. What about you two?
How long?
that.
Oh, this is
Right.
He said yes before you told him how long.
I didn't even ask. That was a good
okay,
question.
right. Indefinitely. See, my brothers, huh?
I gotta have some meat, so yeah, I'm gonna go with the fish.
Okay, all right.
I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it.
I could do it for a little bit.
Okay,
But-
by a little bit, what do you mean? Give me a time frame.
So every year I do the Daniel fast. Where
Okay.
where I give up everything.
Yes.
Meat, dairy, sweets for 21 days. So I know I can probably do one or the other for an extended period of time.
Okay.
So I take that back. I'd probably go with the pescatarian if I had to choose one or the other.
Nice. Okay.
And
Okay.
if I had to,
You got to.
I would pick the pescatarian.
Okay.
So yes, I could do it. Now I don't want to give my red wine. Like, so yes, I'd rather give up meat than my red wine. So
Okay.
I can do it because I'm already leaning into it.
Okay.
For the things we talk about wellness, and I've seen the impact.
Yes.
So I could do it. It is not easy though.
Not at all.
We've been eating meat for so long.
Right.
It's not easy. But I'm limiting my already.
Absolutely.
Maybe 5 times a month. So,
Absolutely.
So I could do
So
it.
the effect that it has on your body is phenomenal. I kind of got suckered into being a pescatarian, to be honest with you. My best friend and I, she drugged me along. We were supposed to do it for about a week, I think it was, and then that extended to 2 weeks. And I was like, all right, we can do 3 weeks. And we've been at this for 2 years now. But the mental clarity that it brings upon myself and their whole family has been phenomenal. So I miss chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I tell you I miss chicken? All right, but you know, I'm happy about it. All right, question number 2. Do any of you have best friends or a best friend, and how long have you been best friends?
Wow. One, I don't throw that around loosely, that word.
Mm-hmm.
Friend, then you have the nerve to put the word best.
Best,
in front of
right?
it,
Correct.
Grew up in Jersey. I named my daughter Kai. I did have one best friend. He died at 18. I was 16. He got into a car accident. He was at Clark Atlanta University.
Mm-hmm.
He was driving back up to New Jersey and got into a car accident. The car hit a tree, and he died of internal bleeding. I named my daughter after him.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only person that I ever called best friend. I grew up in the church with him, Ebenezer Baptist Church. That was my childhood best friend, man. It was really hurtful going to a funeral with a short casket. It changed. You know what I mean? I was 16, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was different. So to answer your question, I can't say I've ever had another best friend. I'll be honest with you, that experience played a huge role in who I let in moving forward. I can look at that now at 43, but at 16, that was traumatic. That was very traumatic. Even with the faith part too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I grew up in church with him.
Yeah.
Right? And it was taken away from me. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah.
Friend part, these are my friends.
Yeah.
You know, you said it earlier. You have very, very small circles. God.
Right.
Really, you know.
Right.
And I believe that there's levels to this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I can love you and not like you.
Ooh.
You know, you know, with that being said, man, I really take that to heart. And for those that I do let in, there's a sense of vulnerability and trust that comes with that. It has to be earned.
Absolutely.
But once it's earned, man, like loyalty is a big deal for me.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
take that to heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And seeing the impact that having that one best friend decades ago really gives you the gravity of that title of best friend, that it still affects you today. You know? What about you two?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do have one guy. When I moved from Jersey to North Carolina,
Okay.
myself, I had my journey. He was one of the first people I really hooked up with. This was back in 1997. And so we've still been ride or die. I was best man at his wedding, but best man in mine. And, you know, he knows all the secrets. So,
Yeah.
You know, if someone wanted to torch him, you know, I'd be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, that's my ride or die amongst these fellas. But I've known him the longest.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
I love the title of best friend because it made me think about it. I have a lot of good friends.
Okay.
Then I have fewer close friends. I don't know if I have a best friend because I probably had 3 or 4 that came in my mind. One, Damian Little, grew up with him in Kalamazoo, but I remember being in his basement because our mothers played bingo together. And so like we used to be in the basement with no food. You know, Mom, I'm still mad at you about this, but from 7 to 10 p.m. wrestling and watching college basketball, and he also knows the stuff that nobody else knows. So I would, that's the person I would think of. But same thing, these are my brothers now. We work together. We do all the nonprofit stuff together.
Nice.
So we're building our relationships. And I've noticed in the last couple of years, we've become more vulnerable to each other.
Yeah.
Asking deeper questions and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
growing.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Best friendship is something that has been a challenge for me. So I've got what I call my 4 no more. And it's just 4 of us, okay? And these are individuals that I either went to high school with or college with, but just recently been challenged on this whole idea of a best friend. To where now I have one, which I'm like totally shocked. And I don't even think I'm doing this thing right, to be honest with you. But you know, thankfully she's patient with me as I learn what this means and again, the gravity of it. But it is about being vulnerable, and it is about loyalty. And so yeah. Best friendship is very rewarding though. Very rewarding. So to know somebody has your back and to know that you have their back, unequivocally, no strings attached. It's a safe space that I'm glad that at the age of 36, about to be 37, that I'm able to experience. So authentically too.
You know, for guys, that's that one guy you know you could call and he'll help you move.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
That's that best friend. Absolutely.
The rest of them is like, all right.
Right.
You didn't show up. I got you.
Right. Absolutely. So final question for you all right? You ready for this? All right. It doesn't have to be, you know, in-depth or anything like that. But if you had to choose to live either without your arms or without your legs now, which one would you choose?
Did you say leg or legs?
Legs.
Okay.
2 of them. There's a package deal.
Both arms, both legs, huh?
Both of them. You see what I go through?
That's an easy answer for me.
I know.
I'm giving up my legs if I gotta give up something.
Legs?
I was gonna go the other way around. Yeah, I was going
Come on,
mobility.
as much time you on social media, how you gonna do?
I don't got to buy shoes no more, no pants. No, I'm giving up legs.
You giving up
You
legs?
I'll be on social media too much. I can pay somebody.
How you gonna do that right?
You funny.
So you say legs.
I'm still.
You still thinking?
I'm leaning legs.
All right, leaning toward legs.
Yeah, mine's legs easy.
Legs easy. Okay.
I've had my track and field.
He contemplating. Boy, I tell you what, this ain't for the weak.
The whole leg?
Okay, this ain't for the weak. You hear me? All right.
See, now I'm thinking like a man, 'cause I like sex. So it's like,
Ah.
like how far are we going with this whole
got
leg thing, though? You know
Well,
what I mean? Like,
okay,
still got your third
but you
arm.
gotta
you
be,
got the third
yeah.
leg. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I know, but you know, I want to clarify around here, man.
You just gotta
say
get-
below the waist. I don't know what's going on here.
You just gotta be, you gotta, lean into your skills, man.
Well, I guess I would have to go with legs.
Legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause, you know, I could. Yeah. Neither or.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's really neither or.
Okay.
Yeah. You start to think about, even in that short amount of time, right?
Yeah.
In that short amount of time, how exactly. That's my whole point. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that flip the script now.
That's it. You heard it. Monique Johnson flipped the script with the bros. Monique, look, words matter. We said that before. We've got, earlier in this conversation, we asked you, like, hey, what is a word that you would use to describe yourself? You made us look it up, because we need to know the correct spelling. You use phenomenal, right?
Yes.
So, we got something for you.
Okay.
So during every episode, we give out a $2 bill. Number one, because it's unique. You see them every day. And so we write on it. We had our whole team sign the back. Number one.
Oh, nice.
On the front, we always write "You matter."
Uh-huh.
I'm sure with the work you do, your spirit, just your story.
Yeah.
There's so many people that just meet you once and go, okay. You know what? I matter too. Your word "phenomenal," as I looked it up, talks about being extraordinary. You day one we knew that, so
Yes.
that's great. But we just want to thank you for being on our show, being a guest. We're gonna definitely put this to you later.
Wow, thank you so very much. It was an honor.
So, like, why'd you pick any word? There's millions of words in the dictionary. Why'd you pick phenomenal?
It's something that sets me apart. And I know physically I'm set apart, but I also know spiritually, mentally, intellectually. God did an amazing thing when He put me together. He just did. And so I I'm not arrogant about it. I'm confident in who I am, and I'm confident in my Creator, and I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful. So yeah.
I love that she hasn't let anybody take it away from her.
That's right. That's powerful.
Oh, and they try.
Yeah.
They try. They try on the daily. No. Not today.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I love it. We'll be right back on the Bro Code Show with Monique Johnson. What's going on, young lady? How you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal.
Good.
How you are?
Just got off an episode with the Bro Code
Yeah.
and Bro Code Productions. Please let us know, how was your experience?
First off, I am just elated that you guys chose me to come and hang out with you all. Everyone, all the participants on the Bro Code has been phenomenal. They welcomed me, made me feel comfortable, and really just, we were able to chop it off. We've had a lot of conversation, even off camera. I mean, these guys are legit, and I'm just so happy to see my brothers just come together and support me in the way that they do, and support their community. So Bro Code is definitely the real deal.